Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Adati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sutadevi Panamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today we will discuss inquiries from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15 that you all submitted. We have quite a few number of inquiries today. So let me bring up on screen. All right. Inquiries numbers 1, 2, and 3 are related inquiries. So let me first read question number 1, 2, and 3. Question 1. In a modern economic landscape where many cannot afford to retire at the age of 50 and where family structures are often nuclear rather than communal, how can one realistically leave home without neglecting their moral and financial obligations to their dependents? Isn't staying and serving one's family with detachment a higher form of yoga than physical departure? Question number 2. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.13.28 purport says, one can compensate for a life of frustration by becoming dhira or leaving home for good without communicating with relatives. Question is it possible in the current situation of a person to leave home with aim to achieve the dhira stage as described? Question number 3 also related. In the lecture, discussion was Vanaprastha starts at the age of 50 years. In countries like Canada, we will likely not even be able to pay off mortgage by that age, let alone qualify for retirement savings. Is turning to spirituality at age 50 and passing on the debt to kids still recommended? Is that not turning away from our duties? So, Canto 1 will finish very soon for you all in the next 3 recordings. Towards the end of Canto 1, you will hear in the recording that Parikshit Maharaj asks 2 very important questions. Question 1, what a man should do, and question 2, what a man should not do. At the start of Canto 2, Sukadev Goswami first answers the second question, what a man should not do, because Nisheda is very powerful, very important. So he says that humans should not live like a Grahamedi, rather, humans should live as a Grahastha. Difference between Grahamedi and Grahastha is that Grahamedi is simply focused on own body and family to earn money during the day and sleep during the night. While a Grahastha externally may look like a Grahamedi, but there is a difference that Grahastha is living with family in material world, concrete jungle, but the Grahastha is not attached. The Grahastha is detached because Grahastha considers everything given to him as Krishna's gift and should be used in Krishna's service. So further, you all will hear very soon the discussion in upcoming recording in Canto 2, that upon hearing this difference between Grahamedi and Grahastha, it hit one of the devotee quite heavily. And this devotee actually chastised me in the class. You will hear this recording, this devotee chastising me. The devotee say that if we have to not live like a Grahamedi, rather live like a Grahastha, then why is Ram Vilas waiting till Canto 2 to mention this point? Instead, why was this point of Grahamedi not discussed at the beginning when we went through Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Sri Upanishad, Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Canto 2. So you all will hear this discussion very, very soon in upcoming recordings. And you will hear the response also, which I will briefly summarize right now. That the principle of Grahameti and Grahastha is actually described in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 25, without the use of the words Grahamedi. So Bhagavad Gita 3.25 states that Karma Kandya are attached and less intelligent. So Karma Kandya are actually Grahamedis. In Bhagavad Gita, the word, the terminology is Karma Kanda. But essentially the principle is the same. Karma Kanda and Grahamedi principle is identical. And in 3.25, the comparison is done that Karma Kandya are less intelligent and attached, while Grahastha are detached and intelligent. So during our Bhagavad Gita study for 3.25, I had also provided Srila Prabhupada's spectacular, very short, about 12-13 minute lecture. The 3.25 Prabhupada lecture is titled Plan Making for More Suffering, where Srila Prabhupada explains that people in the material world are actually creating sufferings for themselves. And the solution is described in the first line of Nectar of Instruction, text number 2 purport. Simple living, high thinking. But most people in the material world, they simply live and hardly think. So if one is simply lives like a Grahamedi, hardly thinks for higher living, well, you will be creating suffering for yourself. Exactly what is described in these first three inquiries on the screen we have. That how do I retire at the age of 50? Srila Prabhupada has explained that live a simple life. not big bungalows, not too many cars. Rather, live a simple life, grow some fruits and vegetables in your backyard. Then these questions that we have on the screen will not arise. Now, all of you, I'm pretty sure will think or even say that this response so far seems like a fantasy. Anybody in that boat? Has my response so far seems like a fantasy? So whether or not you say my response obviously is very much a fantasy or looks like a fantasy. So the solution is find an in-between solution that instead of wanting more and more and more, be content with what comes naturally and live a simple life, at least on a go forward basis. Then you will not have this big mortgage to pay off on one, two, or few bungalows. No, have a simple life. Yes, you can have one house and grow fruits and vegetables in your backyard. So the point Srila Prabhupada is making that last 15-20 years of your life, try to focus more on spirituality by handing over the household management to kids as soon as they are ready to take up responsibility. We will soon read Srimad Bhagavatam 3.27.8 translation and paragraph 1, where Lord Kapila explains, Lord Kapila is Krishna himself, Lord Kapila explains that one cannot earn more by working more. Rather, everyone gets the opulence according to his destiny. And simultaneously, we cannot say that I will sit idle and the opulence will anyway come. No, in Bhagavad Gita 2.47, we have discussed that we should not be attached to not doing our duty because inactivity is not natural for the soul. The last line says 247, Mate Sango Astu Akarmani. That don't be attached to not doing your duty. So bottom line, you do not need to leave home even after the age 50 to go to a jungle. Rather, live with family in the concrete jungle of material world. Just be detached and spend more time on spirituality. So that's the focus of Prabhupada. That last 15-20 years of your life, spend more time on spirituality wherever you are. And if at all you want to retire, then in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.2.39, we'll soon read also, Srila Prabhupada says that come and live at Mayapur or Vrindavan ashram and do devotional services. I will pause here before we read the verses that I pointed out. Any questions, comments, realizations so far? Shreyanshi had something.
Actually, and I mean, these are all really good questions, and I observe that like people have a lot to worry about because there's a lot of poverty, and I've also seen those other people who are even at 50, they're trying to do multiple jobs and multiple sources of income because they're very ambitious. So I feel like um I feel like we need to plan and so that we don't have to do multiple
Yeah,
entrepreneurship.
absolutely correct. So Prabhupada said that plan your retirement on the day you get married. Right? You heard in the lecture, was last lecture or the one before. Prabhupada has clearly said that plan your vanaprastha life on the day you get married. Most people in the material, not most, everybody in the material world, on the day they get married, they are thinking of how am I going to enjoy for rest of my life. But what is Vedic culture? What is the Vedic culture teaching us? What is important? Spirituality is more important, not bodily concept of life. Rest of you,
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Remya, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was much more insightful and practical that you explained. Yeah, we'll definitely have to work on the instructions given today to streamline and get better. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very good. Yeah, thank you for listening with rapt attention. Kunal, Prabhu.
yeah, Prabhuji, I was just saying that nowadays we don't see those many older people, at least in the workplace. Earlier, we used to see people aged like 60, 50, 55, but nowadays the workforce is all like young people, around 40, 35. So, I mean, by default, as far as things are going, I don't think many people will be able to work till 65 or 50.
Yeah. Yeah, you are correct that there are so many advancements happening, but you can look at the positive of it. Okay, very good. Parth Prabhu.
Prabhuji, this is really an eye opener. But thing is that actually in India, what is happening? People are struggling to settle in their life in the early days, that is up to 30, 35 years or 40. And after that, he has to face huge amount of work pressure. Those who are in professional engagement. And afterwards, on his retirement, he should enjoy doing the spiritual activities or engage in spiritual activities. That is my realization. So that's a very helpful thing what I have learned from you. Thank you
Yeah,
very much, Hare Krishna.
yeah. So India is actually a sin city. People are more entangled in India than what people are here in North America. That India has lost its culture significantly. People are just running up and down 24 hours instead of focusing on spirituality. And therefore, the lecture I had given in our Bhagavad Gita study on 3.25, if any one of you want, I can send it again, or if all of you want, I can send it in the WhatsApp group. It's only a 12-13 minute lecture. The title itself is explanatory. Prabhupada says, plan making for more suffering. That's exactly what Path Prabhu described people are doing in India. Plan making for more suffering. So if anybody wants that lecture, you can send me a message offline and I will send it to you individually. Or if all of you want, I can post it in the WhatsApp group, whatever works for everybody, you let me know. So let's read the verses I pointed out. So first we'll read 327.8 translation and paragraph 1. where Lord Kapila says, by working more, it's not possible to earn more. Shreyanshi, translation and paragraph 1 from the screen.
Hare Krishna. For his income, a devotee should be satisfied with what he earns without great difficulty. He should not eat more than what is necessary. He should live in a secluded place and always be thoughtful, peaceful, friendly, compassionate, and self realized. Everyone who has accepted a material body must maintain the necessities of the body by acting or earning some livelihood. A devotee should only work for such income as is absolutely necessary. He should be satisfied always with such income and should not endeavor to earn more and more simply to accumulate the unnecessary. A person in the conditioned state who has no money is always found working very hard to earn some with the object of lording it over material nature. Kapila Dev instructs that we should not endeavor hard for things which may come automatically without extraneous labor. The exact word used in this connection, Yadrachaya, means that every living entity has a predestined happiness and distress in his present body. This is called the law of karma. It is not possible that simply by endeavors to accumulate more money, a person will be able to do so. Otherwise, almost everyone would be on the same level of wealth. In reality, everyone is earning and acquiring according to his predestined karma. According to the Bhagavatam conclusion, we are sometimes faced with dangerous or miserable conditions without endeavoring for them, and similarly, we may have prosperous conditions without endeavoring for them. We are advised to let these things come as predestined. We should engage our valuable time in prosecuting Krishna consciousness. In other words, one should be satisfied by his natural condition. If by predestination one is put into a certain condition of his life, which is not very prosperous in comparison to another's position, one should not be disturbed. He should simply try to utilize his valuable time to advance in Krishna consciousness. Advancement in Krishna consciousness does not depend on any materially prosperous or distressed condition. It is free from the conditions imposed to material life. A very poor man can execute Krishna consciousness to as effectively as a very rich man. One should therefore be very satisfied with his position as offered by the Lord.
Now, Prabhupada says, it is not possible to accumulate more wealth by working more. It's not possible. And in the translation also says, and last line in the purport Prabhupada says, one should be satisfied with the position offered by the Lord. And translation also Lord Kapila. Lord Kapila is Krishna himself. He is saying, devotee should be satisfied with what he earns without great difficulty. So the three questions that we had are exactly opposite. Talking about difficulty to earn. Are Baba, live a simple life. Questions, comments, realization so far? Shivanji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for making us read this verse because a lot of times you don't get opportunities because it's not that somebody is not capable or they haven't tried enough. It's just God at some point of life wants you to focus on spirituality, and people eventually forget that sometimes. They just keep accumulating money, and then suddenly there's no spiritual balance, and the money is also suddenly gone.
Correct. So there was one devotee in our classes, and we have read this 328:7 verse multiple times. This devotee has arguments with me multiple times that no, I need to earn more. And the result is he is no longer in our class. So one devotee virtually present among us has also had offline discussions with me about this devotee arguing with me in class. We are reading the verse that Kapila Dev, Krishna himself is saying, it is not possible to earn more by working more. But he was adamant. No, I want to earn more. And he is no longer in our classes. And the other verse that I pointed out, 6-39, Bhagavatam, where Prabhupada says that if you at all have to retire, then retire and live in Vrindavan and Mayapur ashrams, do devotional services. Retire does not mean you sit on a rocking chair. Or do devotional services. Remya, 6-39 translation purport.
Hare Krishna, translation. Because of a moment's association with devotees, the Vishnudutas, Ajamila detached himself from the material conception of life with determination. Thus, freed from all material attraction, he immediately started for Haridwar. Purport. The word Mukta Sarvanubandhanaha indicates that after this incident, Ajamala, not caring for his wife and children, went straight to Haridwar for further advancement in his spiritual life. Our Krishna consciousness movement now has centers in Vrindavana and Navadvipa so that those who want to live a retired life, whether they be devotees or not, can go there and with determination give up the bodily concept of life. One is welcome to live in those holy places for the rest of his life in order to achieve the highest success by the very simple method of chanting the holy name of the Lord and taking prasada. Thus, one may return home back to Godhead. We do not have a center in Haridwar, but Vrindavana and Sridhama Mayapur are better for devotees than any other places. The Chaitanya Chandrodaya temple offers one a good opportunity to associate with devotees. Let us all take advantage of this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
So we have to work. We cannot say, I will not work. We have to work. Just work simple way and you will be perfect. Any questions, comments, realizations on the first 3 questions? Started with a bang. There are a couple more heavy questions also coming up. All right. Question number 4. Everybody will answer my question on this. Question number 4 says, why is ghost planet in the upper plate than Earth? It was discussed as only those who get pious credits go to the planets in upper plate. Can you please help me in understanding this? So I will bring up on screen the visual we have for one universe. And I will zoom in to understand what the question is asking. That if you see the 7th plate is Earth and the plate above is actually a plate where there's planets of ghost. So the devotee's question is right, that how come the planet of ghost is higher? So everybody answer my next question. So on the screen, I have a visual of Earth. Now one person is standing somewhere in Canada and another person is standing somewhere in India. At their respective places in Canada and India, both these persons are standing straight up and they are held in their places by gravity. Now, when you look from a high level, the way we are looking on the screen right now, it will seem that the person standing in Canada is standing straight up, while the person in India is having his legs up and the head down, although the person in India is also standing straight up in India. So here's my question. All of you please answer. So when both these persons, one in Canada, another in India, are praying and looking up, are both of them looking up? Or who is looking up and who is looking down? Everybody, please answer.
Both are looking up.
All right. Rest of you.
Both are looking up.
Okay.
Both are looking up, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes,
Renia?
Prabhuji, both are looking up, and it's just the relative position of each which causes the confusion.
Okay. Rest of you have not answered. And those who answered looking up, how is that person in India who's standing upside down? How is he looking up, or what exactly is up? Everybody?
Prabhuji, they're looking up um because the stratosphere, like the reflection in the sky, because there's a covering over Earth, so there's a layer, and we're just looking at the reflection. It's basically, it's not even the sky; it's just the space, but covered with a lot of layers, and
Okay.
because Earth is revolving and rotating at the same time. So
All right. Well, you seem to be more confused than what you're answering. So our Earth is revolving, but this person is standing upside down than what the person is standing up straight. Okay. Rest of you, please answer.
This reminds me of the tree, the banyan tree reflection.
Okay, that's a different point. Here is not a reflection. Here, the person in India is an actual person. The person in Canada is an actual person. This is not a reflection. These are two different individuals. Rest of you who did not answer, and those who answered, both are looking up. Tell me what exactly is up here. How is the person in India standing upside down looking up?
Prabhuji, if the earth rotates, then India man will be going up, and this person will go down
No,
in
so
Canada.
no, Earth rotates in round. So Canada will always be on top, and India will always be at the bottom. Earth is rotating in circle,
Hmm.
right? It's not going up and down. It's rotating in circle. So that position does not change. Yes, it's rotating. The position does not change. Who is left to answer? And those who answered, tell me, how is person in India looking up? Or what exactly is up? Some of you are physically right now in India. Priyanka, how are you looking up? Are you not upside down to how we are?
Probably relatively, India is also, or I am also still looking up because the sky remains the same. And in case of the question, it's the spiritual, or it's the sky in the universe. So we are
Yeah,
both
so the
looking up
sky.
to the sky.
Okay. So it's like it's a dome. Sky is everywhere. So the sky is a dome, right? Sky is everywhere.
Mm,
It's not sky is here, right? Sky is not a
mm,
straight line. Sky is a dome. It covers everything. All right.
mm.
You all had fun with the inquiry.
Yes, probably.
Thank you. So both persons are looking up, and looking up refers to looking to higher consciousness, right? So when somebody is praying, what are they praying? They are praying to some higher consciousness, whether it be demigods or Krishna or whichever higher being. They are praying to higher consciousness. They are not looking up physically, right? They are praying to higher consciousness. Now, coming back to the question that why ghost planet is higher than Earth, as we saw on the visual of the universe that we have, understand that those in subtle bodies are at planets which are seemingly higher than Earth. So ghosts are having subtle bodies, not gross bodies. Further, you will hear the discussion in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapters 15 to 26. There is a detailed description on the construction of the universe, where more points are discussed on this. Right now, I'm not going to discuss because that is a pretty heavy conversation on the construction of the universe, and it's a pretty long discussion. We will wait for that Canto 5 discussion to come in sequence. Right now, you all tell me whether it answers that. Just because the ghosts are having the subtle body, therefore their planet is higher as the subtle way, therefore that planet is located higher. Now it looks like it's located higher. When you will hear the discussion in Canto 5, that question may not arise anymore. But right now, yes, seemingly it looks like the ghost planet is higher. But I have answered. You all please let me know if it answers the question. Everybody? Priyanka?
Yes, brother.
Prabhuji, in the discussion, there was a point that was raised about people getting haunted by ghosts. So just curious to know, since it's seemingly, the planet is seemingly above the earth, is it that these souls that do not get a body within those 20 years or like how many ever years, they can travel to any other part of the universe, or are they restricted that they cannot move to the higher planets and they can only move to the lower planets?
Yeah, so they are restricted. They cannot move anywhere and everywhere. Yes, so the ghosts have subtle bodies for whatever number of leftover years they had, before which they quit their body artificially. So the ghost can travel, say, to lower planets to satisfy their desire. So what happens, why somebody gets a ghost body? Say somebody's lifespan is 75 years of age, and this person commits suicide at the age of 50. Now his next body is not going to be ready for next 25 years. So he remains as a ghost for 25 years. But he still has desires. So in Bhagavad Gita 9.25, Krishna says that those who are in ignorance, they worship ghosts. Now, those who are ignorance, they worship ghosts. As part of worshipping the ghost may satisfy their desire and simultaneously also go on to occupy that person's body so that the ghost can satisfy his own desire. So yes, ghosts cannot travel anywhere and everywhere. There's a restriction on them. They cannot travel to higher planets. They cannot travel to spirituality. Yes, because they are subtle, they can travel. I mean, some ghosts may still be within the same material world, Earth, before going to the upper planet. It's not necessarily an upper planet. It's the ghost planet. Priyanka, everybody?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Parth Prabhu?
Prabhuji, I have one question. We all are having some allotted span of life. Suppose somebody will live for 75 years or like that,
Yeah.
or 60 years or 80 years, whatever be the allotment. The thing is that if somebody commits suicide, they will, the soul will become a ghost with subtle body.
Yeah.
So we are accepting the existence of ghost.
You are
Number one.
correct. Yeah, you are correct. It goes to exist.
Okay. And second thing, uh, does it create on any impact on others' life or not?
So those who worship ghost, if you read Bhagavad Gita 9.25, Krishna says there are 4 steps. The last step says those who worship ghost, only those have interaction with ghost. The rest of the people don't have interaction with ghost. So one time, Prabhupada bought a house in India for very cheap, some 200, 300 rupees. 200, 300 rupees is nothing, right? Like $1 or $2 in Canada. And even 50 years ago, 200, 300 rupees was nothing. So Prabhupada bought this house for 200, 300 rupees because nobody was buying this house because that house was haunted by ghost. So Prabhupada bought this house. Prabhupada went in there and chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra and all the ghosts ran away. So you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and the ghost will not bother you. It's only the people in ignorance that do not understand and they worship ghosts. That's what they get trouble. But we all, as long as we keep chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the ghost will not be around us. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
All right, very good. Question number 5. Why did Krishna have to accept Gandhari's curse? Because he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He could have nullified that. What lesson can we learn from this? So yes, Krishna could have nullified. Rather, Krishna used the curse to his advantage, that Yadus are directly from spiritual world, and it would have been impossible for anyone to defeat them. Therefore, Krishna used the curse to get the Yadus back to Godhead by making them fight amongst themselves. So the learning is that we do not understand Krishna's plan. We have discussed this. Bhishma Dev also say, it is very difficult to understand Krishna's plan. Just surrender and follow his instruction. And we have discussed in Bhagavad Gita also, Geyam is avigeyam, that the knowable is unknowable. In Bhagavatam, Brahmaji also repeats this point multiple places. You will hear this in Canto 2 coming up very, very soon. Brahmaji says, the Lord is unknowable. So the learning is Lord is unknowable. We do not know his plan. There are only 3 personalities who know Krishna's plan to perfection. Not perfection, but to a greater extent, which the 3 personalities are Shri Narad Muni, Lord Shiva, and Lord Kapila Dev. And the other learning is that Krishna does multiple tasks in one shot. Does that answer the inquiry? Question number 6. Can you kindly mention a few examples of pure devotees on this earth who are higher than demigods today? It sounds like in order to reach that level, the devotee has to have no desires on this earth. So absolutely correct that all spiritual masters, all pure devotees are higher than demigods. So we have discussed that for a disciple, the spiritual master is Paramatma manifestation. I have described my example a few times. I'll repeat that my spiritual master gave me the instruction to read Srimad Bhagavatam and other instructions also this long time back. So I followed his instruction, and Srimad Bhagavatam, I kept reading and I somehow stopped at a particular verse. Now Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses, I stopped at a particular verse. I did not remember which verse I stopped. I remember the chapter because it's a very important chapter of Narad Muni, where I stopped in Canto 1, Chapter 5. And I used to take notes for every verse that I was reading through. But I stopped. It was some 3-4 months that I stopped reading because Chapter 5, Narad Muni chapter, is a pretty heavy chapter. So next on his next visit, I gave the report to my spiritual master. I mean, at that time, he was not my spiritual master. I was just having a bond with him and meeting with him and following his instructions. So I told him that I followed your instructions. Somehow, Bhagavatam, I stopped and I have not read for some 3-4 months. So he said, okay, very good. You did very good. He said, wait here. So this is Prabhupada quarters in Toronto Temple. So there are 3 rooms in Prabhupada quarters. So I was in the middle room. So he said, okay, wait here. He went to the next room and he brought out some pages. There was a stack of pages. His printed document of important verses. So he flipped, he was looking at me and he flipped and he said, read these 3 verses. So by making this, he was showering his mercy and he was holding my hand, not literally, but in a subtle way to guide me, just as a parent holds the child's hand to guide the child. So as soon as he gave me the verses, I realized that I know I have stopped at this chapter, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Narad Muni chapter, but I myself did not remember the verse, which verse I had stopped. So he made me 3 verses to read, and then he said, now go and continue. And my meeting ended at that moment. He said, now go and continue reading Bhagavatam. The very first thing I did when I reached home is I opened my notes and I had stopped at that exact same verse that my spiritual master asked me to read. How? Because he is Paramatma manifestation. He knew which verse I had stopped. I did not remember. He knew which verse I had stopped. And he also showered his mercy and his statement. Now go and continue reading Bhagavatam. From that day, this was like some 12, 15 years ago, I have not stopped reading Bhagavatam. So he is Paramatma, he is about demigods, not just him. All spiritual masters are Paramatma manifestation. They are all about the demigods. All pure devotees are about demigods. There are many pure devotees. I have given some examples. Does that answer the inquiry? All right. Question number 7. It was mentioned that there are devotees who offer puja to Krishna but who have a different spiritual master's picture than Srila Prabhupada. Can you kindly explain the background for how they follow a different spiritual master? So parampara setup is hierarchical, that from a disciple to his spiritual master and his spiritual master to Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada to his guru. And this way the parampara is connected all the way to Krishna, because this way the parampara is bona fide because it is connected to Krishna. Now some other pseudo systems may also say that yes, I am also following guru to guru to guru to guru parampara, so I am also bona fide, but their parampara is not bona fide because it's not connected all the way to Krishna. This guru to guru to guru stops at some point. So I'll explain my own example to make understand, and I will also explain other devotees' example so that we are crystal clear. So when I offer bhoga to Krishna, worship to Krishna. I do not offer to Krishna. I offer to my spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshika Das Adhikari, and I chant his prayers. And I ask my spiritual master to take this offering to Krishna. So my spiritual master will offer to his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and my spiritual master will ask Srila Prabhupada to offer to Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada will offer to his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, to take it to Krishna. And this way, the offering reaches to Krishna in parampara. But when I am offering, I am not offering to Krishna. I am offering to my spiritual master. And if you all recall, for those of you who have seen the Bhoga offering demonstration from my home temple, at that time I was not initiated. So I asked everybody that look at Srila Prabhupada at my home temple. There was the altar in front, there is Guru Parampara. So I said, everybody, when you are offering, chanting prayers, look at Srila Prabhupada. We are all offering to Srila Prabhupada. And we are asking Srila Prabhupada to take it to Krishna. So the devotees at the temple who are not direct disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they will place their respective spiritual master picture on the altar below Srila Prabhupada. So it's a hierarchy. Parampara is hierarchy. They will place below Prabhupada. And I'll give an example that our Siksha Gurus, His Grace Rupanuga Prabhu and His Grace Bhakti Yoga Prabhu, are both disciples of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami. Both are pujaris at the Toronto Temple. So when they offer worship at the Toronto Temple, lamp worship say, they will have a picture of their spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, one step below Srila Prabhupada. So next time you go to the temple and you notice, you will have to realize that a pujari has to be a disciple of a spiritual master other than Srila Prabhupada. So on the altar, the leftmost altar where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, that's where they place their spiritual master picture. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is at the top on the leftmost altar. Below is Guru Parampara where Srila Prabhupada is there. And below Srila Prabhupada, they will put their spiritual master's picture. In our example for Rupanuga Prabhu and Bhakti Yoga Prabhu, they will put the picture of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami one step below Srila Prabhupada, and they will seek permission from their spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, to allow them to worship Krishna on behalf of their spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami. And this is not one time. This is every time. Every day, every time. They are not offering to Krishna. They are offering to their spiritual master. And when they are worshipping Krishna, they are worshipping on behalf of their spiritual master. Everybody, does that answer their question? All right. Question number 8. Do Vaishnavis also get a sacred thread as part of their recognition as followers of Krishna? What is their requirement qualification to get to that stage? So Vaishnavis also get second initiated when they are ready for second initiation. So the ready for second initiation is when the spiritual master sees your sincerity, or there is a service requiring second initiation. Say, for example, Pujari service. So the spiritual master will give second initiation. In terms of the sacred thread, I will park this question right now. I will later inquire with our Siksha Guru Bhakti Yoga Prabhu and we will discuss it after I get a response for this part. Question number 9. It was mentioned in the previous class recording that it will be impossible to practice spirituality after this Satyug within Kalyug is over. Can you please explain what happens to the spirituality imperfect humans carry over to the next life in that respective yuga? Very good. Everybody have undivided attention. I will also give practical live example from a devotee virtually present among us right now. And this is very important for all of us to understand the significance of this inquiry and the discussion. So Krishna has described in Bhagavad Gita 2.40 as well as 6.40 that spirituality is never lost. Example, if I complete 1% spirituality in my this life, then in my next life or one of the subsequent lives, when I start pursuing spirituality, I will start from 2% point onwards. So it's not that in my next life I will start spirituality. It's when I start pursuing spirituality. It can be 5 lives down the line, 10 lives down the line. There are many factors that play. So it's very important to realize what might happen when the real Kalyug flourishes. So one devotee virtually present among us right now took up a new job in the last few days, week or so, where everyone is working like a donkey 12, 15, 20 hours every day. And this workplace also expects the devotee to also work for these long hours. Plus, the environment at that workplace is significantly toxic. The people at this workplace actually say, actual words, that work is worship. They said this to the devotee, virtually present among us. Now, we have discussed in Bhagavad Gita 18.46 that work is not worship. Otherwise, donkey will be the greatest devotee. Donkey is working like a donkey. So because of such long hours and significantly toxic environment, this devotee could not do sadhana, could not practice spirituality. So this devotee realized from our class discussions that this is not my prescribed duty. Therefore, the devotee quit the job. Very rightly, the devotee quit the job. The prescribed duty means that honorable material world duty which allows you to maintain body and family and also be able to practice spirituality. Now, at this workplace, there are actually few other devotees also from the Toronto temple who have accepted these long hours of work and such toxic environment as normal. So yes, they are devotees because they do devotional services, they do chant. Simultaneously, understand that these devotees who are working there, they do not study scriptures. Therefore, they have lack of understanding. So the devotee virtually present among us studies the scriptures very nicely. Therefore, the devotee followed to the guidance and to seek guidance from another devotee. And this devotee rightly got advice from the mother. The mother is also a devotee. And based on the guidance, as well as from the scriptural descriptions, this devotee quit this toxic workplace. So, if you wait for real Kalyug to flourish, the surrounding environment may influence you also to get caught up in the unrighteous activities, just as other devotees at this toxic workplace have accepted this toxic workplace to be okay. And they are thinking work is worship. No, work is not worship. We have to worship first, to do our diligent sadhana every morning, connect with Krishna. Then rest of the work we do will become worship. But work is not worship. Krishna has clearly said in 18.46 and few verses around. So, your spiritual credits are never lost. But there is no guarantee that you will be able to practice spirituality in the immediate next life. You may have to wait for the bad karma to exhaust first. So Krishna has explained this in Bhagavad Gita 8.3 translation, the second half of the translation. Let's read 8.3 and we'll understand. Follow me, we'll read Bhagavad Gita 8.3 translation. I also have on the screen.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna everyone. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his entire nature is called Adhyatma, the self, action pertaining to development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or nitya activity.
Right, the second half, action pertaining to development of material bodies of living entities is called karma or fruited activities. So if you wait for real Kalyug to flourish, you will end up caught in the whirlpool of bad activities. You will also end up most likely having bad reactions, and you will end up getting a body to exhaust or suffer those bad reactions. And so even in our current life, why I came to Krishna consciousness so late, even though I would have had spiritual credits from previous life, is because I had to first exhaust my karma before I can restart spirituality from where I left off. Yes, I started from where I left off, but when that starts is before I have to exhaust my other karma. Similarly, the bad part of Kalyug may force you to be caught in the bad karma, causing the spirituality to be pushed back. Spiritual credits are never lost. Does that answer the inquiry? Very important inquiry, very practical.
Prabhuji, so those monk, they are in young age, they are seeing here in Toronto or in India also, in ISKCON. So they have completed their uh, bad karma, action reaction, exhausted their reaction of their bad karma in earlier stage. That's why they could able to start their spirituality right in the beginning of the next life. Is it that?
Correct. So we have discussed this in 6.41 and 42 Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that if you have done little bit of spirituality, then you first go to heaven or wherever to enjoy and then come back and then start spirituality. Versus if you have done a lot of spirituality and little bit is left, then you don't go anywhere. You just start spirituality. You are born among advanced devotees, and you just continue your spirituality immediately from where you left off. You start in your current life, even though it may seem like a young age, but you are just elevated from your previous life and you are just continuing from where you left off. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes, thank you.
Question 10. Canto 1, chapter 15, verse 35 mentions multiple universes. The story of Hiranyaksha hiding our earth in an ocean is told in Puranas. Is that in the ocean of some other universe? Because earth cannot be hidden in its own ocean. If yes, then please can you give some more examples from any other Srimad Bhagavatam story we are unaware of? Because this is eye-opening. So it's not just some other Purana. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapters 13 to 19, describe this pastime of Lord Varahadev's appearance to lift earth from Garbhodaka ocean and kill Hiranyaksha. So earth was submerged in Garbhodaka ocean, not some other universe, but Garbhodaka ocean. So as we progress in our Srimad Bhagavatam study, there will be many points revealed that we would have never thought of or we might have heard incorrectly. So you all are rightly situated in Srimad Bhagavatam study in sequential order. Therefore, everything will get revealed one after the other. There's no point in me speaking all 12 cantos of Bhagavatam in brief. No, we are in sequence. Everything will get revealed. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Question number 11. How does one go back to Godhead at his own will? There is no more mention of how two devotees like Yudhishthira and Draupadi got liberated from materialistic pangs. Is there a specific process? So in the next class recording on Canto 1, Chapter 15 that you will hear, which I will provide today. So you will hear and read the discussion on this, that Yudhishthira, Pandavas, Draupadi, Subhadra Maharani, Kunti Devi, all individually focused their attention on Krishna and attained spiritual world. The focus on Krishna by pure devotees is concentrated, pure focus. Hence, they are able to attain the spiritual world. So it's an upcoming discussion. You can read. It basically means you just have to have pure focus. Does that help for the time being?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Question number 12 and 13 are also linked question or similar questions. Question 12. Why did Krishna create this disparity between species where some are weak and some are strong? Does this not drive the cycle of killing one another for food? Is the strong and weak nature among living entities a result of our perception, or does it truly exist? Question 13. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:15-26. Why would the Lord encourage disparity and let struggle of existence happen in the material world? What if an innocent gets perished in the process? So if there were no miseries in material world, then we will never be encouraged to go back home, back to Godhead. We have discussed in the karma discussion in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 verses 16, 17, 18 that if you look at karma only from this life's perspective, then it will seem unfair that innocent people are getting killed. But karma continues life after life after life. So we'll soon read the verses. Srila Narad Muni says in 1:1347, it's a very famous verse, that if somebody reads 1:1347 on itself, that would seem like Srimad Bhagavatam allowing meat eating. Rather, we have to see what Srila Narad Muni is saying before and after 1:1347. So, in the question 12, this point about one, like killing one another for food, is exactly described in 1:1347. So let's read Canto 1, chapter 13, verses 46, 47, and 48 together, so that we are not confused. Kunal Prabhu, 46, 47, 48 from the screen.
The gross material body made of 5 elements is already under the control of eternal time, kala, action, karma, and the modes of material nature, guna. How then can it, being already in the jaws of the serpent, protect others? 47. Those who are devoid of hands are prey to those who have hands. Those devoid of legs are prey for the four-legged. The weak are the subsistence of the strong, and the general rule holds that one living being is food of another. 48. Therefore, O king, you should look to the Supreme Lord only, who is one without a second, and who manifests himself by different energies, and is both within and without. 49. The
Hold
Supreme
on,
Person.
hold on. So if you read 47 alone, it says that one is prey for other, that those devoid of legs are prey for the four-legged, and so on. Now, one living being is food for another. That's exactly what the question also asked. So, what we have to understand is what Narad Muni is saying before and after. In 46, he said that everybody is under the control of Kala, Karma, and Guna. You cannot protect others. And then he says in 48, therefore, you should look to Supreme Lord as the Supreme and just surrender unto the Supreme Lord. So entire world is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Everywhere there is death. No one is out of the jaws of death. Death is inevitable. One is food for another. This is one point. But human form is meant for self-realization. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, we eat what is offered to Supreme Lord. We do not offer meat to the Supreme Lord. And therefore, Bhagavatam does not say kill anybody for food. So the verse 47, the Sanskrit line says, Jiva Jivas Jivanam. All are under the control of Supreme Lord. No one can escape death. So the Lord has appeared just to eradicate ignorance. Therefore, surrender to the Lord in the human form and attain self-realization. So Jiva Jivas Jivanam does not mean it is allowed to eat meat. Therefore, we have to understand the verses, what before and after, not individual verse. You have to understand the context in which the verse is spoken. Right? There is text and there is context. Without context, the text meaning may change. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Question number 14. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.22. Why did friends and relatives got cursed by Brahmanas all of a sudden abruptly? Please help me with the context. So 1.5.22 is describing the fighting of the Yadus, that because of a curse, the Yadus fought amongst themselves and killed each other. So we briefly discussed earlier that how Krishna used the curse to get the Yadus back to Godhead. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to defeat the Yadus. More is coming up. You will hear in the recordings. Question number 15. Please throw some light on Yadus having two souls. So this is the fact that there were two souls within the body of Yadus. One soul is the eternal servant of Krishna who came directly from the spiritual world, and another soul was a demigod. So when the Yadus fought among themselves, it was the demigods that fought amongst themselves, while the eternal servitors of Krishna never went to the fighting place. They went back to Godhead directly. So all this discussion is coming up. I'm briefly only describing. Now an obvious question will be, how are two souls possible in a body? So we discussed earlier about the ghost, that just as ghost occupies someone's body so that the ghost can satisfy his material desires, that way it's possible to have two souls in a body. Does that answer the inquiry?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Question number 16. Garbhadan samskar, is it before birth or while pregnancy or after birth? What are the processes to do it? So there are a few steps in Garbhadan samskar that start before conceiving the child. One of the steps, the very commonly known steps, is that on the day of conceiving the child, both parents have to chant at least 50 rounds of japa, 50 rounds, so that a devotee soul comes in the womb. Now, if someone misses these steps, then one can read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatams, etc. scriptures during pregnancy. So we have Ramya here who followed this process, that Ramya found out about Garbhadan Samskar after she was already pregnant. So from the day she found out, Ramya almost every day read Krishna book, which is Bhagavatam, and read Bhagavad Gita, and up to the very last moment heard lectures directly from my spiritual master, S.K. Vaishyadas Adhikari, who happened to be in Toronto at that time. So I sent her the link while she was in hospital just about to deliver. So I am not an expert on all these steps of Garbhadan Samskar. Our Siksha Guru, His Grace Bhakti Yoga Prabhu, is an expert. So you can connect with him whenever you have the need to conceive a child. So take some time before and follow the steps. There are a few steps that you have to start before even thinking of conceiving a child. Does that help? Last question for today. In spiritual world, 3 types of energies: Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini Shakti. Could you please explain them and are they somehow or other related to the material world three gunas of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas? So just as in material world, there are three modes of material nature of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Similarly, in spiritual world, there are three energies of spiritual nature, Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini. The three energies of spiritual nature, Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini, are not the same as the three material modes of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sandhini means refers to existence. Samvit is knowledge and Ladini is bliss. So there is discussion on these coming up in Canto 2 very, very soon. I only briefly describe, although in Canto 2 also the discussion is somewhat brief. Does that help for the time being? Any questions, comments, realizations? So, my spiritual master gave a lecture just a couple days back about why we should keep revising, why we should assimilate information again and again. So I asked all of you that in the other batch, Nectar of Devotion revision is going on. So all of you can try to attend, just as today Priyanka also attended, thank you. Or you can at least try to listen to recording, and you are all welcome to also do presentations for Nectar of Devotion. So far we have covered up to Nectar of Devotion chapter 5. Now as part of that lecture, that why we should assimilate and revise again and again, my spiritual master references His Grace Chaitanya Chandas, that Chaitanya Chandas posts a brief message on Bhagavad Gita, some verse every day. But Chaitanya Chandas is thinking the whole day, and then he comes up with a relevant verse to post. So we all assemble once a week for a brief moment. So we all need to revise again and again and again. So all of you please try this. So I have asked all of you that in this batch 5, we are not revising because I want to get you all caught up with batch number 3 and 4 so that we can merge batch 3 and 4 and 5. So that a slot opens up in my schedule and I can then start a new batch of Bhagavad Gita. So you have to work with me. Some of you are listening, getting the recordings from me for Nectar of Devotion and listening. Everybody should try to do that. Now, why to assimilate information on Bhagavad Gita and spiritual topics? As part of that lecture, my spiritual master also has these slides as an addendum. That how little we know, I have on the screen. And the example is explained of a PhD. That how little a PhD knows. And then my spiritual master says, now replace this with Bhagavad Gita. So I will run through the slides. That there is a circle that contains all of human knowledge. When you finish elementary school, you know a little. So there's a little blue dot. This is how much knowledge you know. When you complete high school, there is an additional circle of more knowledge. When you complete bachelor's degree, there's an additional circle of more knowledge. and there is a dent. This is your specialty that you attained. You progress the specialty with a master's degree when it progresses further, and you keep researching on that special topic till you reach to the edge of human knowledge. So this is your focus on one pointed focus on one particular topic. So when you are on the edge of that boundary for a few years, and then one day the boundary gives way and there is a dent, and that dent is what is called as PhD. So when somebody has a PhD, he has this little dent. For him, the rest of the world will look different, that this particular PhD student has so much knowledge. That's that little dent. But then don't forget the bigger picture. There's so much more to learn. So then my spiritual master says, now this PhD, replace this with Bhagavad Gita. That there is so much to learn. We assemble once a week, but we have to be constantly in studying scriptures. Therefore, revise. Therefore, we keep revising again and again. I personally have revised Bhagavad Gita so many times. I still forget. I still need to remind me. I read Bhagavad Gita every day. I still forget. So we have to remind ourselves. And Nectar of Devotion, we covered so long ago. We are revising for the very first time. So all of you, please take advantage. And if anybody wants to listen to this spiritual master's lecture on why we should assimilate, why we should revise, then you can please send a message to me and I will forward that to you. Any questions, comments, realizations before we stop for the day? Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank
Krishna
you.
Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.